The difference between £2 an hour and a proper wage is the difference between slavery and freedom.
Good evening and welcome back to the London Broadcast Tapes. Tonight we reveal the dark side of wealth, modern servitude in the heart of the capital. If you value truth and justice, please take a moment to subscribe, like and share this vital conversation with a friend. I'm Sarah, and today we host Maria, who came to London seeking a better life but found herself trapped in a nightmare where she was paid just £2 an hour. Maria, thank you for your immense courage. Let's begin with how you arrived in the UK and met the family who hired you.
Sarah. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
I came from the Philippines on a domestic worker visa. I was hired through an agency by a wealthy couple in Chelsea.
What exactly was the promised salary in your contract before you left your home country?
Wow. The contract specified £1,200 a month for 40 hours a week plus board. This was a fortune for my family back.
So you arrived in Chelsea full of hope. When did you first realise the reality of the situation was completely different from the contract?
And the moment I stepped inside their 5-story house, Mrs. Thompson immediately took my passport, claiming she needed to register it safely. Yeah. Then she handed me a lengthy chore list.
Right. That chore list, did it align with the 40 hours a week stipulated in your contract?
The list was impossible. I started at 6 a.m. and finished after midnight, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
It included not just cleaning, but serving, cooking.
110 hours a week with no break. When did you receive your first monthly payment and how much was it compared to the £1,200 promised?
After the first month, Mr. Thompson handed me an envelope. Inside was £500. He said the rest was deducted for tax. £500 for 440 hours of work that month. That calculation means you were, in effect, being paid barely over £1 per hour. What did you say to him? He just laughed. He said, "This is London, Maria. Yeah. That contract is for immigration only. If you complain, you lose your visa."
Yeah. The threat of being reported for theft, combined with having your passport seized. This was clearly a coercive environment. Where did you sleep?
I was given a tiny storage room next to the laundry room in the basement. It had no window, just a small mattress on the floor.
No window, minimum sleep, and working 18-hour shifts. How did this impact your ability to communicate with your family back in the Philippines?
I was only allowed my phone for 15 minutes on Sunday afternoon. Mrs. Thompson stood outside the door to ensure I didn't say.
The mental toll of performing this perfect lie for your family must have been immense. What was the moment when you realised you had to escape, regardless of the consequences?
The moment was when their youngest son, Thomas, caught me crying in the laundry room. He was about 5. He drew me a picture of the son.
A small act of kindness from the child provided the clarity you needed. What was your main obstacle to leaving the 5-story house in Chelsea?
The passport, Sarah. Without my passport, I was illegal, unemployable, and faced deportation. Mrs. Thompson kept it locked.
So you had to find a way to access the master bedroom, which must have been strictly off limits to you. Yeah. How did you plan to get the key or the combination?
The master bedroom was only cleaned when the Thompsons were out. One evening, Mrs. Thompson left her small personal diary on the kitchen counter when she went out to dinner.
Yeah. You found the diary. Did you believe the safe combination or a clue to its location might be hidden inside?
I went through it quickly. She didn't write the full code, but she had scribbled a few numbers repeatedly. 1998, and next to it the name of her dog, Reggie.
Of 19 to 98, perhaps a birth year or anniversary. Did you try to use this information immediately to access the safe?
The safe combination was indeed 1998, followed by the year Reggie the dog was born.
And you found your passport, the tangible key to your freedom. What was the absolute first thing you did after getting it back?
The absolute first thing I did was run to the kitchen, find a small notebook, and write down every address and phone number for the family and the agency.
Smart thinking, securing the evidence before the escape. How did you manage to get out of a 5-story house in Chelsea unnoticed, especially with Mrs. Thompson still inside?
I waited until Mrs. Thompson went into her basement office. I grabbed the single small backpack I owned, which held my meager savings.
You are now standing at the front door. Describe the feeling of unlocking that heavy Chelsea door after months of confinement.
Yeah. It was sheer panic mixed with disbelief. I didn't walk, I ran down the street, feeling the fear that she might see me from the window.
You are now safely on the London Underground, but you had only £200 cash, no contacts, and were technically still an undocumented worker. Where did you go first? I went to a public library near Victoria Station. I used the computer to search for Domestic Worker Abuse Charity UK, Justice for Workers, the lifeline you desperately needed. What was their immediate response when you explained your situation, including the confiscated passport?
It's okay.
They were incredible. They immediately placed me in a safe house, a shelter for victims of modern slavery. They secured me a pro bono. The law was finally on your side. The next step was confronting the powerful family. What was the reaction of the Thompsons when they realised they were initially dismissive? Mr. Thompson contacted the charity and offered me £5,000 cash to drop the case immediately.
Yeah.
He called it a generous severance package. £5,000 to silence the truth. How did you and your solicitor respond to this attempt to buy your silence? Yeah. My solicitor told me this offer was proof of their guilt. We rejected it completely. The police then became involved and launched a formal police investigation. Must have shocked the wealthy Chelsea couple. What was the central piece of evidence that proved your illegal working hours?
It was the security footage. Their house had CCTV covering the main entrance and the kitchen. The police seized the tapes, and
The technology they installed for their own security ended up exposing their crime. What were the formal charges brought against Mr. and Mrs. Thompson?
They were charged with wage theft, breach of employment law, and exploitation under the Modern Slavery Act. The prosecutor stressed that
The trial began. For the first time, you faced them directly in a British courtroom. Describe that moment. But I looked straight at the judge and told my truth about the basement room, the £500 pay, and the fear. The judge heard your truth. What was the verdict handed down to the wealthy couple, and what compensation were you awarded? The judge ruled decisively. The Thompsons were ordered to pay back all the stolen wages, which totalled over £40,000.
justice served, not just financially, but ethically. Did they face any time in custody for the serious breach of the Modern Slavery Act?
Acts. Mr. Thompson received a 6-month suspended sentence and both were given probation. The judge made it clear that while they avoided
Their reputation ruined, a price often higher than the fines for people in that social circle. With the compensation, what did you do next? Did you return to the Philippines?
I got my independent visa status fixed thanks to the charity. I didn't go back immediately. I used the money to enrol in a college.
you took control of your life and your future. That takes extraordinary resilience. Have you finally managed to build the better life you originally came to London for?
Yes.
I am now a certified healthcare assistant, working legally and being paid the proper London living wage. I send enough money. What message do you have for the many domestic workers who might be watching this, still trapped in similar situations across the UK? You are not alone. Your passport is not their property. Memorise the number for the Modern Slavery Helpline.
You have to take the first step. Maria, your story is an inspiration to all. Thank you for sharing your fight for justice.
Maria's case proves that modern slavery is not a distant problem. It is here, behind the beautiful front doors of London's wealthiest neighbourhoods. If you are a domestic worker in the UK feeling trapped, please find the number for the Modern Slavery Helpline on your screen now.
Your freedom is waiting. Do not be silenced by threats. This is a sensitive but vital conversation. If it opened your eyes to this injustice,
please hit that like button now. Every like boosts this video and helps reach someone who needs this information. And don't forget to share Maria's story across your platforms. Awareness is the first step toward change. We must continue to challenge what we think we know about prosperity in the capital. The difference between £2 an hour and a proper wage is the difference between slavery and freedom. Make sure you subscribe to the London Broadcast Tapes for more powerful true stories. Until next week, stay informed, stay safe, and thank you for watching.